Oh gosh, I hope I don't get a spider on my face. Welcome back to Christina's Garage Gearhead in Training. Today I'm going to give you a tour of the Camaro. As you can tell, there are two colors going on here. This blue, it's Atlantic blue, not a standard Chevy color, but it is my favorite color. My dad had asked me a ton of questions and tried to roundabout way figure out what color I would like. And when he ended up surprising me with it, some parts like this had already been done. Some of the jams are already painted. He wanted to see if the color was the right one. And here you can tell this color is different because this is epoxy primer. And my guy at California Collision and Customs, he did the epoxy primer, then he did like an overspray with this blue to kind of tie it in together. We didn't want to finish the entire paint job and all the body work because, as I'll show you in a second, there is nothing underneath the hood. We need to do everything, and the paint and final body work is going to be the last thing. Now let's give you a tour of what's non-existent underneath the hood. This is what I'm working with right now. This looks a lot nicer when I first got it. California Collision and Customs not only helped me with the epoxy primer and bodywork, but they put it all together. The subframe and the suspension was was already done. The suspension, well, the brakes aren't completely done because the wheels, these are rollers that I'm borrowing from my husband's friends. They're 15s, and the rotors and calipers need a minimum of 18. So right now, these are just temporary. I'm very, very fortunate that I didn't have to go buy wheels and tires because I don't know how the car is going to sit. I'm thinking 18s, but I don't know what size tire I'm going to want because the subframe, the SpeedTech subframe is new, and there's a lot. We have new leaf springs in the back as well, so I don't know how it's going to sit when all the weight is in it. I want to wait to get wheels and tires when I'm at that point. But while I have you here, I want to show you, so these hood hinges here, there's a really cool story behind that. A couple years prior to my dad, I actually don't know what year he purchased it. I know that when he surprised me, but I'm pretty sure he didn't even have my car yet. But we were at Hot August Nights, and he was asking me questions about my brother's Mustang, and we were trying to pick out hood hinges for his car. And I didn't realize that he had purchased these for my car until after he had passed and I went through all the parts. I recognized these. These were the ones that I picked out thinking it was for my brother's car. And so it means a lot to know that I was able to pick some of the things with him. As I said, the paint. I wasn't there to actually pick out the paint with him, but based on our interactions at car shows and my descriptions, he was able to pick out the exact color without us actually seeing it together in person. He just knew, which was really, really cool. But anywho, I'm going to shift the camera over so that you can see the subframe and everything going on there. So this angle shows you a little bit better. You can see the subframe, the suspension, and power steering, some of the brake system. My dad had purchased, this is all SpeedTech here, so the subframe, the upper and lower control arms are all SpeedTech. He went through SpeedTech and it included the Viking coilovers, which is the suspension, and then the Unisteer power steering, which he had already installed all of this. And this is actually what, with help, I was able to put together so that we can put part of the brakes in here. We have Willwood brakes, but because these wheels are 15s, I'm going to need to get new wheels before I can put the rotors and calipers on to finish the whole braking system. I am really bummed. I bought this, oh my gosh, spindle. Oh my gosh, it's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to have to look up the name of that again. But I thought this was powder coated. I thought it was sealed already, but it's not. So it's starting to rust. I'm going to have to pull it off and powder coat it so that it doesn't rust. That's actually quite annoying. But live and learn. I gotta figure out how to, I forgot, how did he open the door? I pushed the finger in here. I have to be very careful with getting in and out because I don't have all the things to make sure I don't. Ugh. This is the current status of the interior. This was left over from previous. It's actually kind of funny. Someone left a Ozzy Osbourne cassette tape in here. I don't know. I'm probably not going to keep this. I'm probably going to get a new one because the way that they cut this out was all wonky and I don't know. But anyway, this is the interior. You can actually see the multiple different colors because it had been rally green, which was the original color, and then there's a red in here, and then obviously now my Atlantic blue. But yeah, this is where we're at here. I'm gonna need to do everything on the inside. Don't mind all the cobwebs. Jeez, man, but oh gosh, I hope I don't get a spider on my face. I'm like trying to. Luckily, I'm not doing this channel to try to look sexy because this really isn't sexy. Oh my god, lots of spiders. Anywho, so we have the rear end under here. This is a 12 bolt rear end. We went to Jaws Gear and Axle to have that redone. Hopefully, if I reach out to them, they will let me do an episode over there and have them kind of walk me through exactly what they did. But we also have the leaf springs here. We got these, my dad had purchased them from Global West Suspension. They no longer do leaf springs. They only do coilovers, but these are 4 leaf springs, and we're probably gonna have to like adjust things, but I learned how to install those myself, which was pretty cool. Lots of YouTube videos, and then some of Zach's, my husband, some of Zach's friends actually helped me with that as well. But yeah, so we have the rear suspension and the rear end. I don't know if I'll be able to get you a good angle under here. If I can grab the phone and maybe show you. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to hold this with my hand, so I apologize for the wiggling. But we have no drive shaft right now. And you can actually see, let's see if I can get my finger here. So this is part of the subframe under here. And, oh my goodness, let's see if you can see my finger. Right there. So the cool thing that I learned about the Camaros is that they are unibody, which means that the frame you can see underneath here, it's a part of the body itself. And then the subframe, which I showed you before, the Speed Tech, that is an additional part, so you can have the frame where the front suspension, the engine, and all of that is housed. But this goes right underneath where the driver and passengers sit, and it bolts into the unibody of the car. Oh, and here's a close-up of the 12-bolt suspension, or oh my gosh, 12-bolt rear end. And then we've got the leaf springs underneath here. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of spiders. Well, that was my grand tour. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am very, very excited to meet new people, learn new things, travel new places, and we're going to build this thing together. So I'll see you guys next week.